Now this illustration deals with 60° C conductors and terminations. The 60° C conductors can be found in Table 310.16, Column 2. The 100 amp or less overcurrent device ratings for 60° C terminals is 110.14C1A. Now, if you went through Volume 1 and went through Chapters 8 and 9, I recommend them two to be used together, then you would find that a circuit of 100 amps or less is 60° C terminals by 110.14 C as in car, 1 little a. Without it, the overcurrent device and terminals are specifically marked 60/75 or 75° C terminals. If they're not marked, they're automatically 60. So you want to remember that, not that you wouldn't. And 240.4D is in dog, listed small circuits, small conductors. Number 10, number 12, 14, 16, 18. Those are small conductors. Anything above that by 240.4D is in dogs, large conductors. So keep that in mind, how to distinguish between small conductors and large conductors. Now the NEC loop says if you want to be a kind of wiser on this situation, with more knowledge to go by, review Table 310.16 and review the information at the very top of that table, because it gives you the temperature routing of those conductors have to be routed through an ambient temperature of 86 degrees of Fahrenheit or less, point to point. And many inspectors, electricians, and designers will just apply a 10% rule. They won't route it through a higher temperature than 86 degrees, more than 10%. Now, detailed information is listed on what we just talked about in Chapters 8 and 9 of Volume 1, if you care to look at it. But that's what 310.16 and the test help or NEC loop that you see there, and 240.4D is in dog. So what we're saying here, this is good for taking a test. That loop is good for design or installation or maintenance if you're having heating problems. And then 334.80, along with 110.14C1, would allow the 90-degree column in Table 310.16 used to derate the ampacity of the conductor based upon its conditions of use back to a 60 or 75 degree connection to a terminal. And then 310.14A3, items 1 through 4, is what engineers call the golden rule for determining the ampacity of a conductor, fully illustrated in Chapter 8 and 9 of Volume 1. And if you notice, you're looking at routing it to a higher temperature. You're looking at calculating the load. You're looking at connecting it to the appropriate termination, 60 or 75. And then you're looking at adjustment factors. So in the 310.14A3 items 1 through 4, you're covering everything on determining the ampacity of a conductor based upon its condition of use, illustrated full in Chapters 8 and 9 of Volume 1. Now, notice that we have 4 current-carrying conductors. And when you have a Y system, you got to be concerned with this. So we naturally would go to 310.15, and I believe it's A3, or A1, excuse me. And we would find there that you have a 10% rule in the exception, or 10 feet. So a lot of inspectors, and I'm not, it's up to the authority having jurisdiction here how they interpret this, either 10 foot or 10%. But many engineers and designers and electricians routing conductors would look at the 10% rule. And you see from the panel board to the left to the equipment to the right, they would not route more than 10% of that run through a higher temperature than 86 degrees Fahrenheit without derating for correction factors. Now here we have adjustment factors because we have 4 more current carrying conductors. Now we know that we can review 310.15a and b of the code, and we know that you're considered current carrying in a Y system if you pull more than 50% of the neutral load that contains harmonics, those type of loads. You would have to account for that. So harmonics, any type of load like that gives us trouble, inductive loading. Now, so if you had 16 amps on L1, L2, and L3, 50% of 16 is 8, so anything above 8, you're current carrying on a Y system with that neutral. And so that's what you got to determine, and that's what we have in that illustration. We have 4 current carrying conductors. The neutral is considered a current carrying conductor by the sections we just quoted to you. So we have a 80% derate, or reduce that load down, because of the 4 to 6 current carrying conductors. Remember, 7 to 9 is 70%. And anything over 9, boy, the code is penalizing the designer, the installer, big time. So here we have 80%. So step 1, we're taking the number 12 THHN or XHHW inside the cable, the insulation around the wire, and we're using the 90-degree column. So either way, if that number 12 in step 1 is THHN, 90-degree column, or XHHW, 90-degree column, we could use the 30 amps in the 90-degree column to apply the 80% to give you 24. And then you would have the 24 amps when you did your 80% derate there for adjustment factors, having more than 3 current carrying conductors in the raceway. 24 amps. 24 amps will be enough amps for a 20 amp breaker and number 12 wire in accordance with 240.4D. Now, I know many engineers will take and use the 75-degree column at times to do the derating from. The code doesn't prohibit that, but you don't have to do it. And this can be fully reviewed by designing engineers by going to 110.14C1, read that last, I believe it's the last sentence in there, that you can use higher temperature conductors to derate back, basically to usable 60 or 75, whatever your terminal ratings are. But you can put a nail in the coffin right quick by going to 334.80, and it's explained in detail. So keep this in mind, that this illustration 14-15A is dealing with the ampacity of a conductor based upon 60-degree C conductors terminating to 60-degree C terminals, and that's what this illustration is illustrating.